Okay, now let's look at side control top or cross side top. And really, this is just a continuity, or I should say continuation of what we discussed with mount, because top position is top position. And I've essentially tried to get my weight on my opponent, upper body aligned to upper body as early as possible, get around the legs, make sure the hips are isolated and blocked so he can't immediately recover guard or get to his knees. And then it's really just about maintaining the pressure using your body weight. And so if you go ahead and lie down for me. Once we get in here, this is again what you see, a lot of over-reliance on grips is one common problem. And so, me holding on tight and pulling myself in. So again, when it comes to pressure gain, you can see people talk about so-and-so has incredible pressure. And then there's another person and they say so-and-so also has incredible pressure. But how are they applying the pressure? Okay? One is going to be, they could both feel equally brutal and they could both be equally competitively formidable. But one is going to have a formula maybe more for longevity and be able to be more accessible to the everyman who, again, is not the great athlete or has the ability to train full-time. So, in other words, if I am creating a lot of pressure with a squeeze in addition to driving in efficiently, right? Or if I'm creating a lot of pressure with gi grips, okay, and driving in efficiently, that's a whole other thing altogether than just simply relying on my weight distribution and the angle of my body relative to my opponent to be able to optimize control over their body. So again, I want to use weight in the service of connection, and then I have all these offensive pressures, okay, to be able to kill the arms in a certain way, to isolate the head in a certain way, to be able to initiate a improving of my position, a mount or something like that, right? And that's where I'm able to not only control the position really well and be effective, but I can also do it very optimally without really any reliance on physical attributes, just the very bare minimum. So, key principle here is going to be proper alignment on my partner's body. So the way I always describe this is you're aligning the Ironman circles, the Ironman beacons. And I want to basically just kind of notch myself into place, almost like if you were putting together something from IKEA or whatever, and you feel it click into place, right? Now you know you're in the right spot. And then disciplining myself to never rest my weight on the mat. So what does that mean? First of all, it means my knees don't touch the mat. Even if you see if I'm wearing gi pants and the gi pant looks like it's resting on the mat, there should not be weight there, okay? Second of all, and even more common, once people understand that, for instance, okay, so I kind of notch myself into place. Notice not here, because that's Ironman beacon to the belly, right? But here I notch into place, okay? I'm creating a little bit of a dive bomber angle so that I know I'm driving my weight effectively into him off the balls of my feet. And I'm taking up all this surface area. Okay, so you feel it. Okay, me here, kind of squeezing in place, there's a little pressure, right? And now, if I take away the grips and the squeeze, but I do this, you feel more pressure, correct? Mm. Yeah. Now, here though is another problem, because I've taken the weight off my knees. However, I have a lot of weight on my hands and elbow. So the only time really that you want to be resting your arms on the mat is maybe if I have a crossface, because I give up a little bit of the pressure coming down into his body in the service of the shoulder pressure that I get and head and shoulder line control of the crossface. But otherwise, really, I want to discipline myself as I'm playing top to maintain the position and attack from the position without letting my weight rest into the mat, or I let it rest as minimally as possible. Okay, so first thing we do from here, there's obviously various arm positions and there's various types of top position. From here I've got all the 4 arm positions from squared up. I have both on the near side, both on the far side, which you should use very sparingly. And then I've got the staggered arm positions. Crossface underhook, or kind of classic, arm over, other arm blocking out the hip by controlling the thigh, okay? The crossface underhook position is great for shoulder pressure, less mobility on your part. The classic arm position gives you a lot of ability to sort of move around and be mobile while pinning your partner. And of course you can go up to 10 and 2 position, north-south, and to the other side. Okay, looking for killing the arms, isolating the arms and the neck, and attacking all along the way. But first thing I want to do before I start putting in submission attempts or attaining the mount or even taking his back is just to be able to control him so he can't get out. And that again I want to do with proper alignment and weight. So from here, if I'm doing this, like first of all, take a defensive arm position for me. Good, okay? So he's got his arms in here. Now, if I am able to pass, and I already have occupied this space, one of the things you'll notice is that when I start working side control, kind of from here, he already feels like if his arm is already against his chest, it's smashed. It's not very useful to him at that point. If I happen to get my chest on his chest and his arm isn't there, it's going to be hard to get it in there to even occupy that space. Okay? Again, it's very kind of claustrophobic. So when I'm in here like this and I'm transferring weight onto him, I'm taking my arms off the mat. So again, right now, weight is on the mat. Right now, my gi is touching the mat, but my arm is not resting on it. Okay? And now from here, Kyle's going to start to work to escape. And the first thing I want to do is be able to maintain a constant connection to the sweet spot, right, the Iron Man beacon, while being able to just shift my weight and have the discipline to always keep my knees off the mat and my arm weight off the mat. And if you start to shift into some of the other variants of side control, for instance, angling to sit facing the head or angling to sit facing the legs, no reason in there to be doing all this good work and then put all your weight on your elbow and your butt, or on your elbow and your hip, elbow and your thigh. Okay, so start to work from here, and as you change, for instance, let's say he starts to slide his knee in to pull guard. Then I counter by switching in here like this. Okay, so as I do this, I want to keep my weight always on him. Okay, so it's just constant pressure transferred on him. So he's bearing the weight. He's basically carrying around a heavy bag the entire time. Okay, he starts to move a little bit. Good, I'm controlling. From here I switch towards the legs. Look, at no point am I switching and sitting on the mat. A lot of times what will happen is you'll be doing great, and then you'll wonder why all of a sudden your partner does a bridge and kind of launches you off, and then you're in this scramble to recover, or all of a sudden they start to disrupt your base and then they pull guard as you try and scramble back on top. It's because you probably lost the connection to them at some point, right? So very common, you see people, they're getting it, like they're doing well, they've got good weight, good connection, they break it and then try and reestablish it. And that's the moment where they lose it, okay? So now this is sort of the diagnostic tool. As you drill the posture fight, you're trying to maintain, keeping them flat, keeping them controlled. They're trying to escape with progressive resistance. This will tell you when you're doing that, right? So from here, as I'm playing, good, really want to keep moving, right? Here, good. And the whole time, can I keep my weight on Kyle? Okay, can I keep my weight controlling him? What happens is, the more that you do that, the more all of a sudden you see that all the all the offensive opportunities start to present themselves, okay, as you're moving. Why? Because you're not relying on your weight on the bottom, okay? You're just constantly being able to go in there. He's starting to feel, my friend John Kavanaugh talking about the energy bar in video games, where you have sort of like your energy or your lifeline. I don't play much video games, but you get the analogy, right? You start to lose your number of lives, or you lose your energy. The energy bar is going down, down, down. So the more that you're able to do that with minimal physicality required, the more you see those opportunities arise, because your partner starts to fade a little bit. And then their arm position starts to get a little compromised, right? As they're trying to take in a breath, you settle in a little more, you feel them start to wheeze, but you're not doing it by brutally grabbing and pulling in and have to, do all sorts of isometric holds to develop that. You're doing it just with your weight. You're doing it with your 150 pounds, with your 200 pounds, with your 250, right? 250 feels worse, but 150 still feels terrible if you're using it properly. And then all your opportunities to advance your position or to get a submission are coming from that.